Hello, my friends. So today we are going to learn about a really fun type of artwork. This type of artwork is called op art. Op kind of stands for optical or like an optical illusion. You've probably heard of those before. So that's when um, through things like value, so how dark or light something is, through lines, through shapes, something can kind of trick your eye into thinking that you're seeing something that you're not. So this type of artwork was popular around like the 1960s, going forward from there. So that was about 60 years ago. I had to do math. So artists like this person here, her name is Bridget Riley. She was a very famous op artist. So she created this piece of artwork where how the lines change their thickness and thinness. It's kind of tricking your eye into thinking that you're looking at something that's three-dimensional when we know you're really just looking at lines on a piece of paper. So if you want to pause this, you can. I think the picture of me is probably covering up some of the words though. So I can attach the PowerPoint of this to the end of my website. You don't have to really look through it though. So op art uses three main things to achieve what it does, which is tricking your eye into thinking that it's seeing something it's not. So it might use a focal point. So it's a place where your eye is drawn to. It might create the illusion of movement. So like when lines get thicker and thinner, it's kind of tricking your eye into thinking that something is moving when it's not. And it uses value a lot of the time too. So that's how dark or light something is. Because colors kind of the way our eye perceives them, they can kind of come forward or go back into space. Value is something that we see used a lot to try and trick your eye into thinking that it's seeing something it's not. So this artwork is called Movement in Squares. Probably some of you, even when you're looking at it, it might make you feel slightly dizzy. I love showing these types of artworks to whole classes of students because you guys all go and it's super fun. So it kind of looks like they're kind of going back into space and then coming out, which we know they're not. You're just looking at a flat image. So that's kind of a fun piece of artwork. So this is another really good example of using lines and shapes and value to trick your eye into thinking that it's seeing something it's not. So it thinks it's seeing a sphere that's coming out into space, when really we know we're just looking at a two-dimensional piece of artwork. The same thing with this one. How those spheres and ovals change their shape really creates the illusion of depth. But when we know it's just an illusion, it's not really there. Okay, my friends, so there are three materials that you will need today. You will need a piece of paper. You will need a pencil. And optional, but kind of recommended, would be something to color with. So crayons or colored pencils would work best, but you could probably also use markers and do some fun things with those. Oh my gosh, my friends, I forgot to tell you that there is one more thing you are going to need for your artwork today, but I'm fairly confident that you all have it, and that is your hand. So what we're going to do to start our artwork is we are going to take our hand and we're going to place it firmly in the middle of our piece of paper. I bet my camera just shook so badly. So my hand is in the middle of my paper and I'm kind of pressing down with my hand, right? I'm pressing down with my fingers, I'm pressing down with my palm, and I'm kind of pressing down with my arm too. So what we are going to do to start our artwork today is we are going to trace our hand. So if you're a fourth grade friend, you're probably like, no problem, I can do this in my sleep. If you're a kindergarten friend, this might be a little bit hard for you. It is okay. Here, I'm going to tell you the trick. It's to really press down with your hand and to keep your pencil going completely straight up and down, right? I don't want my pencil to be out to the side, so it's going to stick under my finger. If I do that, here, I'll show you what that would look like. If I do that, if I'm really pressing my pen or my pencil under my hand as I'm tracing, I'm still going nice and slowly. But if I press, if I really try and get my pencil under my finger, I'm gonna end up with the weirdest looking little alien hand that you have ever seen in your life. Oh my goodness. So if yours comes out looking like this, or if like one of your fingers does, there's a couple things you can, I mean, you know, right? You could probably just like then draw around it and like make your hand a little more like hand shaped. But if this is happening to you, that's because you're sticking your pencil underneath your finger as you're tracing. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of that. So, right, step one is to press my hand firmly to my paper. Step two is to go slowly. Step three is to keep my pencil straight up and down and to not go underneath my finger when I trace. So I'm going nice and slow. I'm really focusing on not moving my hand that's on the paper. I'm doing that by pressing down with my hand as I'm tracing. So if I do it like that, I get a much more like human shaped hand. Okay, so that is step one. So if you have not done that step just yet, right, do it now. I press my hand down firmly. I keep my pencil straight up and down. I'm not going like under my finger while I trace. My pencil is completely vertical. Vertical means up and down. My pencil is not diagonal. It is vertical, right? And then I really focus on not moving my fingers as I'm tracing. So then the next step, for this next step, all you need to know how to do is draw a relatively straight line and know how to draw a curved line. If you can do those two things, you can do this with us. So just give it your best shot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to draw a straight line until I come to where my hand is. And then instead of drawing a straight line, I'm gonna draw a curved line. Then when I get to the end of where my hand is, I'm gonna go back to a straight line. They can be really close together. Or they can be a little bit more spread out. I'll do mine kind of spread out at first, just for time. And so you can kind of see what this is gonna end up looking like. I'm going nice and slowly. That is how I do my very, very, very best job making artwork, is going nice and slowly and carefully and calmly. I'm looking at my pencil as I'm working. I'm not like, sometimes when I do artwork at home by myself, like not for school, sometimes I'll watch TV while I work. And sometimes I find I really can't, you know? Sometimes, like, no, this is, this is not TV artwork. So hopefully, here I'm gonna actually go back to the start here and get these lines put in. Hopefully you can kind of start to see what is happening here. So it'll look even more by the time I'm completely done. But do we see how the curved line kind of makes it look like my arm is sticking out into space and kind of look like my arm is three-dimensional? But we know, right, this is just a flat piece of paper. But by using a straight line, I'm creating the illusion that the background is flat and that the hand is sticking out into space. So I do straight line until I come to the hand, curved line until I come to the end of the hand, and then straight line again. Straight, curved, straight. So when we get to the fingers, it is a little bit more complicated, isn't it? Let's see, I'm gonna try and do one more in here so that it really makes that thumb look three-dimensional, right? Because I know that the background is flat, the thumb, right, is gonna be three-dimensional. So I'll do straight, curved, straight, curved, straight. When you get to your finger, curved line, straight line again, curved line, straight, curved, and then straight. So it might get a little wonky near where your fingers are. That is okay. Just do your best. We do want to make sure we do it over these fingers though, so that they look nice and three-dimensional. I've seen this artwork done a lot with something like a hand. I'm wondering though, if we could do it with things other than hands. Let's try it. So I'm gonna do a really easy shape to draw. Well, it's actually not that easy. I'm gonna do a heart. So if you can't draw a heart, but you can make the letter V, you've made half a heart. If you can then make the letter M on top, right? You've made a heart. So if you're like a third, fourth grade friend, you can probably draw a heart, no problem. I'll draw another one down here. But if you're a kindergarten friend or a first grade friend who has a hard time drawing hearts, think about the letter V and then the letter M. So I'm wondering if I can do the same thing with this. So if you had a hard time tracing your hand, try it with something that is not your hand. We'll see if this works. I think it's gonna work. I'm starting to go a little bit fast. So when I get to this part of the heart, remember that this is curved, this is flat, this is curved, this is flat. That's what makes it an illusion, is I gotta like follow those rules. I think it works a little bit better with the hand, just because a hand is something that we're really familiar with. And it's something that we know is usually three-dimensional, but I think it worked with the heart too. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. So I'm also, if you're like a third, fourth, an older friend and are wondering if there's something else you can do to your artwork to make it a little bit more interesting, I will tell you that there is something that I can suggest. So we know that things that stick out into space have shadows, right? Shadows are something that make things look three-dimensional. So if I'm imagining that this is a real hand sticking out into space, right? I can probably imagine that there is gonna be a shadow. So I can darken. So if I take a dark color, like, probably even just pencil would work better. Well, let's see. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna do it really dark right next to the hand and then make it a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna do these kind of stripes. So essentially what I'm doing here, I kind of stopped explaining it, so I'm gonna voice over this part. Essentially what I'm doing here is where the like edge of the hand is meeting the background, I'm creating a darker value close to the hand, and then it kind of gradually gets lighter as it goes away from the hand. So right where the curved line meets the straight line, I color in one of the stripes darker by pressing down harder with my pencil, and then gradually a little bit lighter by pressing down less hard with my pencil. You don't have to do this. I will show you though a time lapse of me doing one and finishing it. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and we'll just watch like a super duper duper sped up version of me doing this. So just to kind of reiterate, you don't have to shade yours in or add value to it. I would love it if you would practice or try, just give it a try, right? That's really what matters the most. If you start to get frustrated with it or like find that this is something that you just don't connect with, that is okay. You can be like, you know what? I gave this an honest shot. It's not for me. I'm going to be done with it. That is completely fine. But a lot of friends usually really enjoy op art and really enjoy the result that you get from it. You get like a really nice, impressive result a lot of the time. So I hope that some of you enjoy it. Probably some of you won't, and that is okay. Different people can like different things. Okay, my friends, have a fun time.